Hello and welcome to Life by Design with Jeanette. I'm Jeanette Mondin, transformational life coach, emotional healing practitioner, and a real results expert. I help people move from living life by default to living life by design through coaching, vision work, mindset transformation, and emotional healing. Today, we're talking about something that has completely changed the way I coach people and honestly, the way I live my own life. The title of today's episode is Why Inspired Action Works Better Than Hustle. We've been taught that success belongs to the busiest person. Wake up earlier, work longer, sleep less, push harder, hustle, grind, keep going. But have you ever noticed some people seem to work twice as hard yet get half the results, while someone else seems almost effortless and opportunities just seem to appear? What's the difference? It isn't luck. It isn't intelligence. It isn't talent. It is the difference between forced action and inspired action. Today, we're going to discover why hustle often creates burnout, why inspired action creates momentum, how to recognize when you're pushing instead of flowing, and how to begin partnering with life instead of fighting it. So let's dive in. We were never designed to force everything. Many people believe that life is one giant uphill battle, that if it's difficult, it must be worthwhile. If you're exhausted, you must be successful. Some people almost wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. I'm so busy, I hardly slept, I'm overwhelmed, as though these statements somehow equal significance. But ask yourself, is being busy the same thing as making progress? Not even close. Imagine you're driving from Utah to California. One driver has their GPS programmed, the other refuses direction and just drives as fast as possible. Who gets there first? The person with direction, not speed. Many people have incredible speed without clear direction, and hustle without direction simply gets you lost faster. What is inspired action? Inspired action isn't sitting on your couch waiting for the universe to magically deliver your dreams. It's action, but action that's aligned. It's taking the next obvious step. It's moving because something inside you says yes instead of I have to. Inspired action often feels exciting, sometimes scary, but deeply right. Hustle says, I have to make this happen. Inspired action says, I'm being led towards something. Huge difference. The difference between pressure and purpose. Pressure sounds like this: I should, I have to, I'm behind, I'm running out of time. Purpose sounds different. I get to, this matters, I'm excited, this feels right. One comes from fear, the other comes from vision. Fear creates frantic movement, vision creates meaningful movement. Nature never hustles. One of my favorite observations. Nature never rushes. An oak tree doesn't compare itself to the pine tree. Flowers don't bloom because they're stressed. Seeds don't scream underground trying to grow faster. Everything unfolds according to its design, yet somehow humans think anxiety is productive. Imagine standing beside a rose bush yelling, bloom faster. Ridiculous, right? Yet we do that to ourselves every day. Imagine two hikers. One has a compass, one doesn't. The hiker without the compass walks 10 miles, the other walks 3. Guess who arrives first? The one heading in the right direction. Life isn't rewarding activity, it's rewarding alignment. Being busy is not the goal, being effective is. Here's something interesting. Many people stay busy because slowing down would require them to think, and thinking might force them to ask uncomfortable questions. Do I actually enjoy this job? Am I living someone else's dream? Have I forgotten what I truly want? Sometimes hustle is simply distraction wearing a productivity costume. People think inspiration always comes as some giant lightning bolt. Most of the time, it whispers. Call that person, read that book, take that class, sign up, write the first paragraph, go for a walk, have the conversation. Small actions change lives. Think of a train. The first inch of movement requires the most energy. After that, momentum begins working for you. Imagine a woman named Claire. She's been saying for years, I want to start my own business someday. But instead of beginning, she spends years researching, watching YouTube, buying courses, making lists, perfecting logos, and yet nothing happens. One Saturday morning, she feels prompted to attend a local networking event. She almost doesn't go. She thinks, I'm not ready. But something inside nudges her, go anyway. She attends. She meets one person. That person introduces her to another, who introduces her to another. Within a year, She has clients she never imagined. Was it magic? Nope. It was an inspired action. One small yes opens doors she couldn't see. When we're forcing everything, we only see one solution. Inspired people see possibilities because they're not consumed by panic. Have you ever noticed your best ideas often come in the shower, while walking, vacation, or driving? Rarely while panicking. Why? Because your mind relaxes, creativity expands, answers appear. Picture yourself in a river. One person is swimming upstream. Every stroke is exhausting. Another person has learned where the current flows. They're still moving, still steering, still paying attention, but the current helps them. Inspired action feels like rowing with the current instead of against it. How do you know if you're hustling? Ask yourself, do I feel constantly exhausted? Do I believe rest is laziness? Am I chasing approval? Do I feel guilty whenever I'm not working? Am I saying yes to everything? Am I making decisions from fear or vision? These questions reveal a lot. Here's 4 signs you're living from inspiration. First, you feel energized afterwards, not necessarily less tired, but more alive. Second, unexpected opportunities begin showing up. Third, you experience peace even when things aren't finished. Fourth, the work begins feeling meaningful, not merely productive. Here's the hard part. Inspired action requires trust. Trust that you don't need the entire staircase before taking the first step. Most people wait until they know exactly how, but clarity often comes after movement, not before it. The windshield on your car only lets you see a little way down the road, yet somehow you make it all the way across the country. Life works similarly. Ask better questions. Instead of asking, how am I going to make this happen? Try asking, what is the next inspired step? One question creates overwhelm, the other creates movement. The invitation. Imagine if for the next week, instead of asking, what do I have to do today? You ask, what is life inviting me to do today? Notice how different those questions feel. One creates pressure, the other creates possibility. That shift alone can transform your entire week. This week, I want you to try something. Every morning before checking your phone, before opening your email, before rushing into your schedule, sit quietly for 5 minutes and ask yourself, if I trusted life completely today, what would my next inspired action be? Then do it, even if it's small, especially if it's small, because little inspired actions eventually create extraordinary lives. Thank you so much for joining me today on Life by Design with Jeanette. If today's episode encouraged you, I'd love for you to subscribe to the podcast and share this episode with someone who may be exhausted from trying to hustle their way through life. And here's a question I'd love you to reflect on this week. What would I absolutely love my life to look like if I knew I couldn't fail? Then ask yourself, what is one courageous, inspired step I can take toward that vision today? If you're ready to release emotional blocks, transform limiting beliefs, gain clarity, and create a life you truly love, I'd like to invite you to my free vision workshop or schedule a complimentary strategy session. You can learn more by going to lifecoachingwithjeanette.com. And remember, you are never meant to live life by default. You are meant to live life by design. So until next time, keep dreaming, keep growing, keep becoming, because life by design is created one brave decision at a time.